Brenda J. Lilly here from Creative Consultations. I just wanted to put out a small disclaimer before we launch into today's video that says I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm just here to engage, to encourage, and hopefully empower other artists to go out and live their art dream. So here we go. Enjoy the video. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning, August 19th, and it is time for Creative Consultations Monday Morning Kickstart. I hope you like this video and it encourages you greatly. If you do, like it, share, subscribe, share it with all of your friends so that we can be a great encouragement to each other this week as it gets started. All right, I'll see you on the flip side. It is time for our Monday morning kickstart, and I've got my big blue cup of coffee, so let's get going. Today, I want to talk about living intentionally, living a life of intention, living your life intentionally. Last week, we talked about dreaming for your life and vision casting, but this week, I want to talk about why it's so important. You see, without vision, without forward thought, without thinking beyond this moment right here, right now that we're existing in, we start to perish. We begin to die by inches. You know, that's something my mother said at the end of her life. She didn't have much stamina or fortitude left for dreaming. And at some point in her life, and I don't really know where or when it started, she stopped dreaming. She sort of just resigned herself to existing and surviving. And I think really it wasn't the last year of her life that she started dying by inches. It was when she let go of the dreaming part of her life, the idea of new possibilities, new things. That's when her life started to die by inches, when she started to perish and let go of a really exciting, potentially exciting life. Now, that's not to say she didn't have a good life, because she did. And at the beginning of her life, she had huge dreams for her life. In fact, so big that she was rejected by a lot of people around her. And so she just made her life her own. She went out on her own and she did it the way she lived her life according to her purposes, her dreams, and her plans. Somewhere along the way, like I said, that thought process stopped for her. She stopped dreaming for whatever reason, and I don't know why, but I know it never made her happy, and I know that she was not fulfilled from that point on out. It's a powerful truth. Without vision, we perish. We begin to die by inches. We live a survival existence, making it from one day to the next, but not living for anything other than that. And that might have been okay for the cavemen, but we are not them, right? We're not there anymore. We live in the here and the now. And so all those survival instincts that we have need to get put to really good use, but in today's context. Dreaming and vision casting for your life helps you to understand yourself better. What makes you tick? What fills you up? What ignites that flame, that passion inside of you? Dreaming and vision casting also helps you understand what you don't want, what makes you miserable, what drains you, and douses that flame inside of you. The trick is believing your dreams are possible, believing in yourself and your dreams, even when others don't. Even when others tell you you're being foolish, you're being unwise, you're being full of yourself, or even that you will fail. I have heard all of those things spoken to me, and I know my mom did too. And it's interesting that the choice we made was to dream anyway, to live our lives purposefully. So powerful to believe in yourself and to believe in the dreams that you have for yourself. When we dream, when we vision cast for our lives, it helps us to live a life of intention and purpose. Living for a purpose on purpose. That is kind of my life motto, right? When we live intentionally, it's really hard to pull us off target. We're really focused on our purpose, on our intention. We face challenges knowing we are where we are supposed to be, doing what we're supposed to be doing. So you can't really be shaken. Oh, sure, the world can get large and problems rear their ugly heads, but you won't be pulled off target. You might have to put something down for a hot second, but you know you're just going to pick it right back up when the time is right, when things get better, when you solve the problems that you're walking through. I talked about the vision board. That is the artistic first step to making the dream a reality, right? The next is believing in yourself and what it is you are actually called to be or do or become. We're all called to become something. And it's your life's purpose to fulfill that calling. Artist, content creator, writer, singer, actor, producer, teacher, pastor, fireman, mother, father, veterinarian, whatever it is, believe in yourself. Believe in your dreams. Know that you were created for this, and then go for it. Put one foot in front of the other. Get the training you need. Practice the skills you need to get competent at. Gather a group. Ooh, this is so important. Gather a group of people around you who will support you and your endeavors and speak truth to you in love, but truth. You don't just want to be surrounded by yes men, people who say, oh, everything you do is great. No, you want people to tell you the truth, even if it hurts a little bit. But they need to be people that you choose, that you trust, and that you know have your best interest at heart. That's a really important point about surrounding yourself with the right people. Choose your friends wisely. Let go of the people who try to crush your dreams because they're afraid. They're afraid of your dreams and they're afraid to watch you succeed or afraid to see you fail. You know, people love us, and it's often those people who become either our biggest supporters or our dream crushers. And we have to know the difference. We have to know the difference between those two kinds of people. And it doesn't mean you cast the person aside if it's your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your uncle, whatever. They're family. You love them. But what it is you don't do is take their opinions to heart if you know they're a dream crusher, if you know they're a giant instead of a helping hand. So careful there. And then as you begin to build your life, so you've cast the vision, you're believing in your dreams, you've surrounded yourself with good people who are going to help and support you along your path and journey to becoming whatever it is you're supposed to become. And then you begin to build your life intentionally and on purpose. And as you begin to fulfill your purposes, because there may be more than one, you go on that grand journey and you don't let anyone dissuade you or distract you from it. I was talking about my life with someone this past week. It was a really good conversation, hard conversation, but good. You know, they were in crisis with their life. And I could feel at first, at the beginning of the call, I could feel their fear. But as we talked about dreaming and beginning to ask the hard question, if money were no object, what would I be doing? Remember that question from last week? If money were no object, what would you be doing for your life? What do I want my life to look like, to feel like, to be like? If I can could feel the peace, and so as we started talking through this thought process, if money were no object, and dream casting and vision casting for your life, what do you want your life to be like now? And from this point on, you've done that. Now, what do you want? I could feel the peace begin to come as they realized life is more than this hard moment. And trust me, they're walking through a hard moment in life, but they began to see beyond the moment. And that is what dreaming and vision casting is so important and so, yeah, it's life giving, right? This is a powerful revelation when you're in crisis mode, when you're in a place where you're at a crossroads, where everything you thought was supposed to be is has turned to dust. When you're in those moments of life, dream casting, vision casting, evaluating your life and what it is you want and the purposes you're here for are imperative and important. I spoke about how I begin my days slowly. So I'm on this phone call and I was talking about how I live my life intentionally and and how I begin my days slowly. How I have intentionally created my life so that is how most of my days begin. Slow. I wake up when my body wants to wake up, when it's ready. Most days. Some days I do have to set an alarm clock, but most days I can go without it. Even in my busiest seasons, I make sure to have a few non alarm clock days set in my schedule each week. For me, that's really important. It helps me to breathe, it helps me to focus, it helps me to stay joy filled and happy, to start my day slowly. And I explained, even starting off slowly, I'm usually up having coffee by 8 or 8:30. And then for me, I spend time with God, breathing, praying, chatting, dreaming. And then I look at my day schedule and then I get to it. Most days, I don't begin working until about 10 a.m. And I have intentionally scheduled my week, leaving at least 35% of my workday free. Some days I can get more than that. I can plan 40, sometimes 45% of my day, depending on what I have to do for that week, free. So that when emergencies or unplanned meetings or projects come up, I have time to accomplish them. And there's no need to stress over the work that I have already to do, what my schedule already holds, right? That's intentional. I put that schedule together intentionally, and I do that every week, right? Every Saturday, I sit down with my agenda and I put in all of the things I need to do for the following week. What is it I'm going to turn my attention to? How many hours of the week I'm going to give to it? And on what days I'm going to give those hours. And I make sure to leave 35% of every single one of my work days free for emergencies, for crisis phone calls, for unplanned meetings, for projects that come up. And they always do. My days are quite full. So it's an intentional plan. Um, and this is after years of working 100 hours a week. I literally worked for about 14 years doing 85 to 105 hours a week. And at the end of that time, probably about the last 2 years of that time, I began thinking there has to be something better than this. There has to be another way to do that. Working 85 to 100 hours a week might make your boss happy, might make you the employee of the month, of the year, but it's not sustainable. And your life is not yours, it's the companies that you work for. And I understand doing that kind of work for short periods of time. I think we all have those seasons. Busy seasons come to all of us, right? But if you're not careful, a season can become a decade and you become a human doing instead of a human being. Each one of us must have time to be still, to breathe, to keep your passions passionate. You know, when I was working 100 hours or so a week, I was working in professional theater, television, film. And the funny thing was, everyone thought I was so cultured. The truth was, I never went to theater. I barely ever saw a film or went to the movies. Who has time when you work that much? And when I came home, all I wanted to do was sleep. I mean, honestly, when you work 100 hours a week, you're really just taking short naps before you go back to work. So after I lived 14 years of that kind of a life, I decided I was not interested in that lifestyle anymore. And I had to start to change it. I needed to be intentional and purposeful. So I'm not saying this stuff out of zero experience. I want you to know that I've done just about everything. I've had every kind of schedule known to man, and the good ones, the bad ones, and the in between ones. And some were uglier than others. But I can tell you, when I decided to live more intentionally, on purpose, for a purpose, my life shifted. It changed everything. I changed my direction. I changed my path. I changed my understanding about work and life balance. Those are some real hot button topics of today's society that didn't exist when I first started my career. There was no understanding of work life balance. You just lived to work. Moving to Europe further helped me take hold of this amazing understanding of work life balance, and that I could work to live and not live to work. So the work I did can keep food on my table, keep me in sneakers, and I can still have time to engage in my passions, engage in my artistic endeavors. And wow, there's a balance of existence there. I have time to go to sleep and have full 8 hours sleep if I choose to. I can go to the movies. I can go to theater. I can go to dinner with friends. Oh my Hamel, my life. It's crazy. What deciding not to live to work has done for my life. Working to live, you work enough to live intentionally the way you desire to live. You can find peace and contentment there. There's fullness in it. You can fully embrace becoming who you were created to be. There's joy in that place because there's room to breathe, to play, to build relationships. But living to work, work is your life. It's what you live for. There's little time for family, friends, or outside interests. There's a lack of fulfillment. There's a lack of peace, a lack of joy. You become your job. How many people have you met that say they shake your hand and upon the introduction they say, "Hi, my name is," and you say, "Oh, my name is," and then they say, "What do you do for a living? What do you do?" Like, that's the most important thing. "Oh, what do you do? What's your job?" There's so much more to us human beings than the work we do, than the employment that we have. I guess I really want to make sure we understand that. We are multifaceted people. We were created that way. We weren't created to do and think and be just one way all the time from here to eternity. We have warts and pimples, bumps and wrinkles, and our life changes. It ebbs and flows, and it's lovely. But we have to be intentional about it in order to have peace, in order to have joy. If you are living to work, you are your job. So when somebody asks, "Oh, what do?" You say, "Oh, I am N," right? So you become what it is you do. No, you were created for more than that. Vision casting for your life helps avoid the pitfall of living to work. And it recognizes the power of the dream and helps you to take hold of it and progress into your great big beautiful tomorrow, as Disney said when he created the carousel of progress. If you haven't been to Disney, Google carousel of progress. I promise you it's a wonderful ride through Americana history. But progress, in the song for the carousel of progress, there's a line: progress is not just moving ahead, it's dreaming and working and building a better way of life. Let me say that again. Progress is not just moving ahead, it's dreaming and working and building a better way of life. Living intentionally for a purpose, on purpose, is just that. Well, that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like it, share it with all of your friends so we can be encouraged and dream our dreams together. All right. I will see you on the flip side. Hey, thank you so much for watching our video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe. What are you waiting for? All right. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye.